haven't pre-ordered F1 2017 just yet, guys, don't forget to check out Simply Games for a brilliant price as well. Be top link down in the description, guys, and if you order through that link, you also help me out. Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of my F1 2017 Webber's Return Career Mode, guys. And today, we are here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and as you can see at the moment, we're still P4 overall in the Drivers' World Championship. We've got Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas right behind me, who, you know, I'm going to try my hardest to defend from those guys, but, you know, I don't count on it lasting particularly long, guys. Moving on into the Bahrain Grand Prix, and unfortunately, Chris does not have good news.
Right, some bad news on the development front. One of the parts failed quality control. We know how to fix it, but it'll take some extra resource. It's on hold for now, but you can order the extra work from the laptop at any time.
So, unfortunately, the front downforce has failed there, which is really not ideal when it comes to future development on the car. We're going to have to sort out that once more there, as well as the weight reduction there. So we've got 2 failures coming on into this Bahrain Grand Prix there. So really not what we needed, guys. But let's move on then into qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Obviously, one-shot qualifying here, going to take you around a lap of this Bahrain circuit, and hopefully, you know, we can have a good one-shot qualifying here today. You know, we'll have to wait and see how well it does fare, guys. But let's move on then onto the Bahrain Grand Prix qualifying even, and opening the DRS straight away. Just a long run down towards turn 1. Going to brake just after the Gulf Air sign there on the right hand side as we move down in towards turn 1. They're just about getting the car slowed down without locking up there through turn 2, near enough flat out there. The AI seem to be OP through that corner. It's really difficult to try and keep up with them there. Braking now just after the 100 meter board down in towards turn 3 and turn 4 there even, and through the corner, just trying to put the power down. Very slippery on this game as we now come through the S section here, through down in 5th gear there, short shifting up back into P6 there and braking just as you see the little kink on the white paint on the right hand side, trying to get the car through turn 8 there, I think that is, and the back end trying to kick out as much as possible down now into the horrible double left-hander here, braking nice and early, trying to clip the apex there without locking up, and then just trying to put the power down this second long DRS straight around this Bahrain Grand Prix circuit. Down into the next corner, braking just after the 100 meter board, trying to use all the curbing on the outside there, avoiding the curb on the exit of the corner, and now flat through these next couple of corners here. Up, just trying to just miss the apex there, and then you brake just as the outside curb there starts to turn in. Now getting through that corner there, shortening them into gear 5 there as we come now down towards the final couple of corners here of this Bahrain circuit, braking just at the 100 meter board, using all the curb once more there, accidentally running a little bit wide on the exit curb there, but down towards the line, and unfortunately there it's going to be P14 for the Bahrain Grand Prix there. A bit disappointed on the whole with that result. You know, I think we could have had a lot more from that car there, and you know, unfortunately the lap just really wasn't hooked up that well. Really do struggle around this Bahrain Grand Prix circuit. But just have a look then, Lance Stroll, my teammate, does manage to get up into P11 there, so the first time this season that he has out-qualified me here. And you know, I think points are still on the cards from P14 on the grid, but you know, we'll have to wait and see. We actually tied with Carlos Sainz there at the end. But let's move on then, guys, into the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and starting alongside him P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Verstappen, Perez, Ocon, Grosjean, and Nico Hülkenberg, Stroll, Magnussen, Daniel Kvyat, and Williams, Sainz, Palmer, Fernando Alonso, and Pascal Wehrlein. Van Dorn and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
So really disappointed there in the end, to be honest, with qualifying. You know, sort of want to aim for top 10s every single race, and I feel if, you know, we'd been able to get those 2 upgrades on the car, then maybe we would have stood a better chance at being able to do so, guys. But I'm going to go for a bit of an aggressive strategy on the set of these softs first, and then move to a set of the ultra softs, guys. But ready then for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's 5 lights, and away we go, and off to a pretty wheel spinny start there, just trying to get the power down as early as possible there, and nearly actually flicking it halfway around there, but somehow keeping it facing the right direction, down in towards turn 1 here. We've got Jody and Palmer, who we try and go side by side with there. He goes all over the curbs. Unfortunately, a bit of contact made there as we're 4 wide into turn 2 there, somehow getting out of there near enough unscathed there. Palmer makes even more contact with me, but we've got a good run out of turn 3 there, down the inside of Ocon and Grosjean in towards turn 4 there, 3 wide once more there. We're just going to try and hang them both out to dry on the exit of the corner there. So from P14 to P9, after just one sector there, very, very solid start to this Grand Prix there. And you know, we've somehow managed to come out of that basically unscathed, considering how much side-by-side action we were facing just before that couple of corners there. So pretty intense at the start of the Grand Prix, but somehow, you know, we had a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact with a couple of drivers there, so no real damage done to the car. We've got Sergio Perez and Nico Hulkenberg just up the road, but I don't think Romain Grosjean hasn't been finished with me just yet here, and obviously on the set of the harder compounded tyres, you know, we might struggle to try and defend from him. Is onto lap 2. He is still all over the gearbox of this Williams car, down in towards the double left-hander here, locking up the front inside wheel there ever so slightly, running deep into the corner there, and Romain Grosjean is going to pounce on that opportunity there, up back into P9 of the Grand Prix. But we have got a better run out of the corner there and down the inside in towards the end of the DRS straight here. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but we do hang him out to dry once more there. So back up into P9 of the Grand Prix we go, and you know, we're just trying to hold on to this position as well as we possibly can. But now on to lap 3, and you can see the engine, we've already got 2 parts in the yellow there, which is really not ideal here. You know, the Williams has got just as bad reliability as the McLaren Honda, it seems, as Grosjean now going to have a look down the inside into the final corner here. He's going to actually push us out to dry there. Unfortunately, we get caught all over the curbs there. Grosjean's going to get a much better run on the exit of the corner. And now, just 1 lap later here, we've now got under pressure from Jolyon Palmer here as we come out the final corner. He's going to try and have a look right to my outside there. Didn't really expect him to try and have a look there. Didn't really want to give him any room on the outside there, but he goes right around my outside, down towards turn 1 here. That we're going to try and outbrake him once more, locking up the front inside wheel ever so slightly there, but we do get the car slowed down, side by side still with Palmer, as he goes for a bit of an undercut there, trying to squeeze him out wide. He makes a little bit of contact with me on the exit of the corner here, and Ocon is trying to make moves as well, but he unfortunately gets penned in just behind me, braking as late as we possibly can up into turn 3 there, and we do hold on to P10 of this Grand Prix for now. But you can just see the engine is so badly worn in 2 different parts here, and I think it's the MGU-H is also looking right at the top end of the 40% as well here, but this is really not ideal for myself, and we're just going to try and defend for all our worth here. Romain Grosjean has already pulled out about a 2-second lead over myself here, but down the next corner there, we lose the back end absolutely massive there. Palmer's going to go by, Ocon's going to go by as well, but now we're outside the points there. Really not what I wanted in this Grand Prix there, and a costly error made up by myself there. But we're still going to try and have a look back past Ocon as soon as we get the opportunity here, and through the next couple of corners here. Ocon not getting a good run there. We're going to have a look down the inside into the final sector of this lap, and somehow, you know, we just get the car past him once more there. But now moving on to lap 7 of the Grand Prix. A few drivers have made their first pit stops, and now the MGU-H is also over 50% wear here. So, you know, we've got 3 parts on a huge amount of wear. They're losing the back end on the final corner of lap 7 here, and Kevin Magnussen is going to dive it into the pit lane at the same time I do. They're just about getting the car slowed down into the pit lane here, and now, you know, this could be a good chance to try and jump Esteban Ocon in the pit lane here. Going to try and make sure we nail this pit release here, guys. We're just going to go on the power as early as possible there, actually getting up to a very good pit exit there, and we have jumped Kevin Magnussen there, but I think unfortunately for him, he did have to change the front wing there, so, you know, we've been able to come out quite comfortably ahead of him. But on the exit of the pit lane here, we have been able to stay out ahead of my teammate Lance Stroll here. We got Danny Kvyat just a couple of seconds up the road here, who I don't think has made his pit stops yet in this Grand Prix. And now, as we can see, skipping on to the end of lap 8 here, and now Danny Kvyat now will be diving into the pit lane for his one and only stop of this Grand Prix here, and that's going to take me back up into P11 here. But Jolyon Palmer is about 5 seconds up the road, unfortunately, guys, and as we skip to the end of lap 11, you know, the engine wear was just too bad, you know, to really be trying able to do anything, you know, to try and catch these guys as much as possible. And unfortunately, you know, that was really going to be the end of the Bahrain Grand Prix there. Lewis Hamilton has come through to win the Grand Prix. We actually ended up having to do a little bit of fuel saving right at the very end of this Bahrain Grand Prix there. But unfortunately, you know, 3 engine parts really badly worn at the end of this race. Not exactly what I wanted to walk away with from this Bahrain Grand Prix. As we come through the final sector of the race, you know, unfortunately, it's going to be P11 there, and that is really not what I wanted to finish off this Grand Prix. You know, I was hoping we could try and score points once more, but unfortunately, you know, sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles, guys. When we come through the final corner of the Bahrain Grand Prix, unfortunately, it's going to be P11 in the end, barely missing out on points.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
So there we are then, guys, the end of the Bahrain Grand Prix. And Lewis Hamilton able to take home the race victory ahead of both Finnish drivers of Kimi Räikkönen and Valtteri Bottas. Sebastian Vettel finishes P4 in the race with the Red Bulls 5th and 6th there, with Hülkenberg doing a very solid job in P7. Romain Grosjean P8, Jolyon Palmer doing well as well to get into the points there with Sergio Perez in P10 there. But Palmer going from P16 to P9 there. A very, very solid race from him. Myself able to go from P14 to P11 there. Still able once more to edge out my teammate Lance Stroll there. But, you know, unfortunately, we just weren't able to, you know, we didn't have the pace, especially with how bad the engine wear was around this Grand Prix. You know, we really did feel the gripe from that. And unfortunately, you know, as we move on into the next couple of races, you know, we're going to have to try and, you know, work on the reliability on this car, guys. But just hopefully, you know, going to have a look at the driver's standings. I mean, unfortunately, we've been relegated to P6 overall there. Verstappen and Bottas able to slip by me after 2 solid races for the pair of them at this Grand Prix there. But, you know, we're still holding on quite nicely at the moment to P6. And hopefully, you know, if we have a flick over to the constructors' standings as well, you know, I think really in the long term, we're going to be aiming for P4 overall, guys. And having a look then over at that, I think, you know, we are still holding on to P4 just about at this moment in time, guys, in the standings there. Red Bull, unfortunately, able to jump us there. But hopefully, you know, you guys have enjoyed this Bahrain Grand Prix. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you guys for a brand new video.